Good evening, and welcome to Whispers in the Dark. Tell me, do you like stories about things that go creeping in the night? Stories of the twisted and macabre? Stories about werewolves, vampires, and more. Some true, some false. The stories tell all, but keep your voices low. The thing in the corner wakes when it hears new guests, but fear not. It will eventually move to some other shadowy corner. So turn off all your lights, grab a drink, put on a headset, settle close, and don't turn until I say so. Otherwise, the thing behind you will grab you by the shoulders. This evening's bone-chilling story will send chills down your spine. It will make you see things from the corner of your eye. Tonight, we wander somewhere we were never meant to see. A place that waits in the cracks between heaven and hell. A place built from unfinished souls. A place that listens when the living grow tired. Settle in, my friends. Turn down the lights, and whatever you do, don't look behind you. Our story this evening is called The Gray Expanse. Evan Mercer always felt like the world was shrinking around him. Not in a dramatic way. No explosions, no tragedies, no sudden collapse. Just pressure, a slow tightening of the walls. A life that felt too small, too loud, too heavy. Every day was a room with no doors. Every night was a ceiling pressing down on his chest. He wasn't running from life. He was suffocating in it. And then one evening, after another day of pretending he was fine, Evan blinked, and the world was gone. No sound, no wrath, no color. He stood alone in a pale, endless landscape. The ground beneath him felt unfinished, like stone that hadn't decided what it wanted to be. Fog drifted across the horizon in slow, deliberate waves. "Hello," he whispered. His voice didn't echo. It didn't travel. It simply fell straight down, swallowed by the air. Something moved in the fog. A tall, thin silhouette stepped forward, human-shaped but stretched, as if someone had pulled it too far. It had no face, only the faint suggestion of one, like a memory smugged by time. Evan froze. The figure lifted one long arm and pointed behind him. He turned. Another figure stood inches from his back. He hadn't heard it, hadn't felt it. It was simply there, as if it had always been there, and he had only just noticed it. This one had no mouth, only a trembling hollow where one should be, as if the world had forgotten to finish it. The air vibrated, like a voice trying to exit but failing. Evan stumbled back, falling to the cold floor. "What is this place?" he mumbled in fear. The fog stirred. More silhouettes appeared. Dozens, maybe hundreds, watching him with faceless curiosity. He ran. The ground rippled beneath him like fabric. The fog thickened, thinning only when he moved, as if guiding him. The horizon bent, curving in ways that made no sense. He wasn't escaping, he was being led. He stopped only when he reached a structure, a house, or something pretending to be one. Its walls didn't meet at the corners. Its windows showed scenes from his past, instead of the world outside. The doors pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. He didn't want to go inside, but the silhouettes gathered behind him, silent and expectant. Evan stepped through the door. Inside the house, warm air washed over him. Familiar, comforting. A living room he recognized. His childhood room. But it was wrong. The colors were faded, the furniture slightly distorted, as if sculpted by someone who had only heard descriptions of it. The figure sat on the couch. His mother, but not. Her face was blurred and distorted, features shifting like wet paint. Her hands were too long, too thin. When she looked up, her eyes were empty sockets filled with swirling gray mist. "Evan," she said, but the voice came from behind him. He spun around. No one was there. When he turned back, the figure was standing inches from him. "You were trapped," it whispered, "but you left before you found the door." Evan backed away. What is this place? The figure tilted its head. The place between, the place for those who try to escape their story. The walls pulsed. The room dissolved into fog. Evan stood in a vast hall filled with towering shapes, the Watchers. Their bodies were made of shifting stone and shadow, and their many eyes glowed faintly, each one showing a memory. Evan's memories, moments he tried to forget, moments he had endured, moments that had carved cracks in him until he believed he couldn't escape. One Watcher stepped forward. Its eyes opened wider, showing Evan sitting at his desk day after day, feeling the walls close in, feeling the weight of expectations he never asked for, feeling trapped in a life that didn't feel like living. He looked away. "You cannot look back," a voice whispered beside him. A hollowed figure stood at his side, its faceless head turned toward him. "Not until you understand." The Watcher's eyes shifted, showing something new. Evan lying on the ground, but breathing, alive. He frowned. "I didn't die." The Hollowed nodded. "Your body lives. Your soul wandered. You came here because you believed your story was over." The Mawless creatures gathered around him, biting and scratching him. They reached towards him, envious of the connection he still had to life, a life they failed at decades ago, trapping them in the gray expanse for all eternity. "You can leave," the Hallowed said, "but only if you choose to finish what you tried to escape." Evan swallowed hard. "How do I do that?" The Watcher leaned down, its many eyes focusing on him. In its gaze he saw every moment he had survived before, every time he had kept going, every time he had been stronger than he realized. "You choose to return," the Hallowed whispered. "You choose to continue. You choose to live." The fog thickened, swirling around him. The creatures stepped back, angrily watching silently. Evan closed his eyes, fearful of what might happen, fearful of what he might see when he opens them, and chose. When he opened them again, he was lying in a hospital bed. Sunlight streamed through the window. Machines beeped softly. A nurse gasped and ran to call a doctor. Evan stared at this ceiling, breath shaking. He was alive. But in the corner of the room where the shadows gathered, he saw a tall, thin silhouette watching him. Behind the silhouette were the Mawless, watching with a threatening look in their eyes, watching angrily, just waiting. A reminder, a warning, a promise. The gray expanse never forgets the unfinished. All right, travelers, that's where we leave the expanse tonight. If your heart's still racing, good. That means you're still alive. And trust me, the things out here prefer their snacks still breathing. Now listen, some of you out there think about ending your story early. I get it. The world gets heavy, the shadows get loud, and the silence starts acting like it knows your name. But take it from me, the Expanse does not reward early exits. You don't get peace. You just get drafted into the night shift, and those things have terrible management. So stay for the weird plot twists, the unexpected laughs, the people who haven't met you yet but will be glad they did. Stay because your story isn't done, and I refuse to let you wander off into the fog alone. Now, hydrate, lock your doors, and if something whispers your name later, tell it you're busy living. This is your host, signing off. Stay curious, stay breathing, stay in the story. Until next time, gals and ghouls, may the dark stay where it belongs.